earlier this year, I did several videos on the xTool apparel printer, a new solution for making apparel easy, even in a wood shop, in your home, just easy for a newbie. Well, recently, this summer, I got the whole setup. I got the shaker oven in addition to the printer, and this video is really gonna show you just how simple it is, how easy it is to make these DTF transfers safely, none of the mess, none of the powder, breathe safely, and to make some pretty awesome shirts, garments, all kinds of applications. This video is going to have sales ideas, some design ideas, files, software, all that stuff, but also applications beyond. Really, one simple solution, one click, easy maintenance. Going to check this out, the xTool apparel printer. So really quick, an overview of what this machine entails. It is a DTF, direct-to-film printer. It's awesome, right? Really quality prints, high quality. You get your color ink, and then you have a white layer on top, so it stands out on prints. It has the powder. So this is the melting powder that you're going to use with the heat press, and it keeps it all in the system. It shakes it, it heats it, and then you can use a heat press. You're good to go. This is safer. This is way better than all the other systems, and so we're going to dive into it. Now, throughout this video, I have timestamps if you just want to jump on around, but here's the system. So here's the setup with the printer on the shaker oven. So we got our ink, it prints, and then it does the powder, and then it comes out like so, and here is a print, and you can see it, right? And so it's a great system. It's really simple. You can just batch these out over and over. You can see that that powder has fully cured. It's awesome. I don't have the powdery residue. And then you can add the air purifier just to make sure you're not breathing any of those fumes. So we'll talk about the other setups and just why it's a little sketchy. So the system, it does have a great little touchpad. The screen here, of course, you connect to your computer for all the other things, but lots of other applications. We're going to really get into the maintenance later and talk about why this is so great, because a lot of these printers, the ink clogs, it doesn't circulate, and it's just all kinds of headaches. And so it's a really simple setup. So the touchpad here, it's great. So just take a closer look. This part right here is from one of my last videos, just touring the printer. We're going to get into the whole system, but we can control the head. Just want to show you a little bit more. Again, those timestamps, if you've seen this, you just want to jump on ahead. But there's some really great features as opposed to the other DTF printers that I've seen. I've worked with only one other one, but some just amazing features here. So you can get a look at the wipers, all the different things. We got magnets everywhere. Really simple to just pull this off. You can take a look at everything if you did leave it way too long or you have some kind of issue. With clogs, really, as long as you're just doing this on semi-regular basis and you just leave it plugged in, that's going to do the maintenance. And so there's a cleaning fluid, just make sure that's stocked, and then every once in a while you might have to empty this out as it's purged and does the cleaning of the heads. As a general practice, you do want to be using your machine. Don't wait months in between, like every week, every couple weeks at least, just so it's running. But lots of different maintenance options in here. Another thing on some of the other ones, you have to take the whole thing apart. So they really thought through the design here where there's these mirrors. You have a mirror here, so you can see the bottom of the print heads and just inspect it without having to take the whole thing apart. Just a lot of different features throughout. This is not going to be the review of the machine itself. Deep, I have that in the other ones. But just a quick overview, right? So adding the ink is really simple. You have your CMY, your cyan, magenta, yellow, and then you have white and you have black. Now, a lot of these machines, you have to use a syringe to pull it out. My experience, like with the Pro Colored one, and it's kind of fussy. This one, the whole system just does it for you. So it puts the pressure on. They've done a lot. So this came out, I don't know, like 6 months ago. They've done a lot of upgrades, and they're just constantly, doing upgrades to the system, to the firmware, and they're very responsive. And so if you don't know xTool, they've got a really wide user base, and they're really responsive to the customers, and they really want to make those improvements, and they're committed to that. Expanding to US support recently too. But here you can see it's just printing that color and just shows you what it looks like. all kinds of different features in here. But this is that original when I didn't have the shaker oven. So you could get just the printer where it's going to print it, but you're going to have that wet ink right now. And so you print it and then it does the white layers so it pops on colors. Well, at this point, you need to cure a melting powder. So you put this powder on it, and then you have to shake it off manually, and then you have to heat it. Well, the problem with this is toxic. You don't want to be smelling this. You see, I'm using a respirator. You don't really want this on their hands. You don't want to breathe it. And then you have to put it in a separate oven. You have to wait forever for it to bake. It's a huge mess, and honestly, it's a safety issue. And so the difference with this system is now we have the automatic shaker. And so you just put the powder in the system, it will powder it evenly, and then it will bake it for you all together so it just pops out. So lots of other features going on here, but it's fully enclosed, right? The powder is fully enclosed. Make sure you do check out the link down below to learn more about it if you want all the specs and the technical stuff. But this system works so well. I see how even that is. When I did it before manually, I missed spots, I had too much, and it was a mess everywhere. You can see that old one, don't need to use it anymore, right? So I have it all, it works, but this one is just so much better, and it's safer. It's just so much safer. And so the whole system, it just runs through, it shakes it out, and then it bakes the proper time. You get everything dialed in. I didn't have to adjust any of my settings, and everything is rocking and rolling. Another consideration is other comparable units that have a printer with a shaker oven. This is just a shaker oven here. This is the CEO of xTool showcasing when they launched. That's just the shaker oven. That doesn't even include the printer, where they're much bigger, they're wider. This is just the smallest footprint for an all-in-one unit where you could have this in your home, you could have this in an office. This is amazing for a storefront, but that's just a shaker oven component. All right, so then once you got your little prints, your DTF transfers, then you just go and press. No, a heat press. All kinds of different heat presses. You can do heat presses on patches. So sublimation, a lot of folks like to do sublimation, but you're limited to certain material types with sublimation printers, and obviously colors. You can't do that on everything. Whereas DTF, it opens to so many more. So I'm doing these patches, and then I'm doing hat patches, and then we're just doing like a little heat press here. Here, these are just little DTF smaller ones that I just put on these trucker hats, and this is just DTF. And so there's lots of possibilities with hats, and especially when you have that transparent background, it really pops. So there's a lot of other applications that we're going to get into, and we'll show other things more than just t-shirts and sweatshirts. But the Smart Cycle maintenance system is huge. The white clogs happen on all these machines, and if you just there's that maintenance fluid, the moisturizing liquid, and it just cleans the head. Everything is up and running. So it's a really, really great system in that regard. All right, so again, it prints, you got the color, it's adding your powder, it's shaking it evenly, it's making sure everything goes, it's just the perfect. And so what I do is, like, honestly, I just sit on my computer and I just put out a bunch of designs. And like the other day, I did like 13 at the same time. I just click, 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 task created. And then I came back a little bit later and there's all my prints. It's done. I didn't have to sit there. I didn't have to watch it. With the other system, I had to manage it and make sure if it did a lot of sheets at the same time, if it didn't roll up on itself. This is just so much easier, and then it just pops out all these prints. It just pops them out, and then you're ready for a heat press. And so we'll get into some sales ideas and heat presses and other tips and tricks. But to get these transfers, these really high quality ones, it's so easy. So here's a couple of the ideas just to get a look at the quality of the prints. Obviously, colors, they really pop. You can do a great job. We'll talk a little bit more about just the single colors, just the white, just the black, and why I used to think that was just a waste of this machine. But actually some really great sales ideas here. This really is a great money maker for small businesses. Makes things so simple, so quick and efficient. A lot of my machines I have to go and get different things set up. This machine is just all self-contained right here. And I just is plugged in. I leave it, and at least once a week I'll do a print. But as long as I'm keeping the liquids in there, enough ink, moisturizing liquid, and it's going to send me all those notifications, we're golden. And so all kinds of prints, all kinds of possibilities. But let's jump into some more ideas for sales and more, but talk about heat press as well. So heat presses are really simple. Just want to make sure I do touch on this step. So big idea, you take your garment, you do a pre-press, and then just add it down your sheet. Have the settings on there. It's really simple. And then once you have that first press, you're going to pull off the sheet. Now hot peel, cold peel, it's really simple. Once you pulled off for that first press, you have to do a second press. Now sometimes you'll use parchment paper or a Teflon sheet. I'm using a product called T-Seal. Just really helps adhering it into the fabric, into the material. But after two presses, you're done. So here, like I'm just in my dining room. You can do this in an office. You could do this in all kinds of places. So this is a really simple home-based small business. You of course could do this in a storefront as well. xTool has their own press right here. This one works great. If you're gonna do bigger shirts, I do have that other one. There's hat presses, but it's really simple. So obviously this machine, it's not printing directly on the machine, right? It's printing these transfers, so it's direct to film. And so we get really, really high quality transfers where you could make it with multiple designs. You could do a bigger sheet. Maybe someone wants a bunch of smaller logos. You can do these on the hat patches or all kinds of different patches. But these transfers, if you wanted to, you could just print transfers. Folks usually will buy these transfers, depending on size, $5 to $10 just for a transfer. There's a lot of folks on Etsy who just sell transfers. It's not going to be your main business if you're trying to make money, but some folks, they just want to buy transfers because they can buy a heat press. You know, they go on Amazon, they buy a $100 heat press, and then they just find someone who can make the transfers for them. You know, my son's football team, baseball team, they've done that before where we just bought a bunch of transfers from someone who had a DTF machine. And you know, that's not a ton of money, but $5, 20 kids, that's $100. You do that a couple times, right? That's not a massive moneymaker with this machine. However, that is an option. However, if you're just trying to do, you know, the whole thing, so this t-shirt like $4 or $5. $4 or $5 if you get them wholesale, all kinds of places you can find these. And then you print it. There's that cool calculator in the software that tells you about how much ink it is. Usually, you know, it's less than $1. Let's say it's $1 in ink. $4 shirt, that's $5. And you sell this for, let's say, minimum $12. A lot of folks will sell like a really basic shirt for $10 with just one color. And if you're doing multiple colors, these are high end. You know, they've been through a bunch of washes. They do great. You can sell these shirts for 15 bucks, 20 bucks. It just depends on where you're at, the kind of deal. But let's say it's 15 bucks. Well, that's a $10 profit per shirt. If I'm doing a school shirt, think about that, right? Think about a staff, you know, 40, 50 teachers, depending on the size of the school. Let's say you only get 30 orders, right? That's 300 bucks, right? And you just multiply that. You do sports teams. You know, you hit them up for, you know, oh, we need championship shirts. You can do smaller sales, and that's the beauty of this machine in particular. Is I'm a teacher, right? I'm a 5th grade teacher. I'm at school, and hey, we're gonna have our family literacy night, and people are gonna come over. Oh, we want to make some quick shirts. I literally go home, do a quick mock-up, quick design, and I push play. You know, I press, and it does it all by itself. I don't have to do multiple things. I don't have to worry about liquids. I don't have to worry about powder or setting things up. It's just a self-contained unit where I literally just push a button, it prints it out, and then a heat press, and I can make these shirts. I can whip them up in no time. You know, all these, you know, spur of the moment orders or small orders, you can do them a lot quicker. Obviously the big orders, the volume orders, those are great. But those, you know, sometimes they're infrequent where they come. And what's great about this machine is you can just take those custom orders, whether you have a website or you're, you know, doing it through Etsy or you're a storefront. These machines are amazing for storefronts. And you just push the design. It's like 5 to 10 minutes, you're up and running. And then, you know, yeah, probably 30 minutes, you know, from start to finish, you got a shirt. And then you can just mass produce that. So lots of sales opportunities. My other videos, I talk about some more, but awesome. So t-shirts for teachers, garments, apparel for, you know, education is huge. Teachers love wearing different shirts, all kinds of different things. I think schools is a great idea. Here's a 5th grade team sweatshirt, 5th grade forever. I've been teaching for 20 years and all of my colleagues love having different shirts for the different seasons. And this is a great machine where you can just do them really quick. All kinds of different logos, really easy to design your own software to do new logos. Maybe you even want to reach out to your PTA or a PTSA and say, hey, I want to design the t-shirts, and you can help with a fundraiser, or you can make some money that way. This was a colleague, last name is Metz, did a little AI transfer to have the Seattle skyline. And again, you've seen this quite a few times. Here's some sports teams. This was just for my son. He's number 92. This is his football team, and we're making all the different gear for family to come to his games and support. But you could do this for a whole team. You could do the team swag. You could do it for all the players. There's so many possibilities with this, and it's just so easy for that. So sports, so many applications there. Now, I've shown this in my last video. I did a mock-up of a lot of different logo designs for a painting company, and just using Canva and some other ones, and they picked their design, and then I was able to make a whole line of shirts for them. So I made shirts, I made sweatshirts, I made hat patches, and I did it all with the Apparel printer. And so that's another one, small businesses, electricians, a plumbing company, and get some great sales that way. So another feature I want to talk about was something that really, we're talking about colors. Oh, look at the amazing colors. Wow, I get great colors. Yes, absolutely. That is what is great about DTF as opposed to like a vinyl cutter where I can get all these colorful designs. Well, I have a machine, the M1 Ultra, that works like a Cricut, where we could just do something like this. Well, if I want to do numbers to the back of like a team shirt or something like this, to do this on Cricut, I would have to cut it with the vinyl, but then I would have to use a weeding tool. I'd have to weed out all of those other pieces and then transfer. That's a lot longer process. So I was kind of against the one color design, but honestly, this is so much faster. And so when I was looking into this, I just wanted to find ones that were really super colorful. Don't mind the sawdust. Obviously we got all these really, really colorful ones. However, don't hate on the single color SVG files. Just the white, just the black, just the one color, those pop. And they still can look really great. Like this one right here, if I was gonna do this on a screen printer, I have to make the screen. The laser makes things a lot faster, but then I have the ink and all that. And I can just mass produce this design over and over again. This one right here, well, this one is a little bit different because there is the black, but you could make it. But just that one color, like this one right here, that looks awesome. And it really pops. It doesn't look like, an iron-on, old school one. So yes, colors are awesome. Colors are great. However, just doing that, white or just doing a black is a great look, and it's just so fast, so efficient. So I do want to go over the software really quick. Again, I have a couple other videos on this Apparel printer, and in those videos, I do a really extensive look at the software. XCS is amazing. I've been using it for years now, and they just keep upgrading it all the time. But for ink, this is really simple, right? You just add in your image, whatever it might be. You can mess around with all the different settings, but it really truly is insert an image, and then you're up and running, right? So let's just go. I found an image. Let's do this one, right? So you have your image. Let's say the image isn't the best quality, right? Low image quality. You can enhance it. And so I found some images online that just weren't as great, so we could enhance it. You also have images you might want to do a cutout. You might want to remove the background. So it's, it just pops better, especially when you have all this blank space here. It's a little, it just is a higher quality. And so there's a lot of great features in here. Again, my other videos get a little bit more into the software, but it is just so simple. But what cool feature is there's this mock-up. So I can click mock-up and I can pick whatever garment I want. I can even put it on a model. Let's say I want to have an extra large shirt. We're going to pick a different color. We're going to go, the gray shirt. Okay, well here is a great example of, that white is really going to stand out. So I want to go back and either edit this image or find a different way where that's transparent, so it's not printing this big white blob on there. So that's a great little thing, but also it helps you figure out the size. So, okay, I like that size, and then I can just apply the scaling, and now there's the size I need, right? So, okay, I know the size I need, and then you just print and you're up and running once you're connected. Now, lots of different designs here. Obviously, you can find stuff anywhere. There's some cool features in xTool itself. They have a lot of great features, including colorful printing. Okay, that's one. But the text and graphic, I love doing this one. Again, we talked about it doesn't have to be colorful. Even just one color is awesome and it works great. But there are some other ones. You know, like this one in particular, where you can do a description and it can give you some text, all kinds of different possibilities. I've actually done some really cool files that way, just using their design software in here. But another resource I share in all of my videos, something called, that's not it, it's called Creative Fabrica. And so like if I went to Etsy, and I found one of these images, that would be like $2 to $5 for one image. Now this is Creative Fabrica and it's a subscription, so $4 a month, a little bit less if you do different things, you get unlimited downloads. And so if you use my link down below, you get 10 free downloads just to kind of figure it out. But there's a lot of these t-shirt packs where there's 20 different images. I can download as many of these as I want. Again, buying this on Etsy or another site, that's like $4 just for one file. This is unlimited downloads. And so there are so many different files on here. I play around with it all the time. But again, if you use my link down below, you'll get 10 free before paying anything. But a lot of the ones you saw here, right, the Fivosaurus was from here. There's also great fonts. There's all kinds of different fonts that you can download. It's really easy to add in. Quite a few of these designs. I mean, there's big packs, but there's so many possibilities. So definitely check out Creative Fabrica. It's great for DTF, really great. Lots of other applications as well. So just some ideas. This is just a couple shirts, but you get an idea for the quality and the applications. Obviously, one-offs. This machine is amazing for doing the one-offs or small orders where setup would be harder for other ones. But of course, you could do big projects. You can do colorful prints. You can do small, simple prints as well. So many possibilities. So there you have it, the xTool apparel printer. Really great machine, really awesome what you can do with it, and hopefully that added some value to see what this machine can do and the applications. If it did add value and you want to see more videos on apparel, whether it's DTF, I got a lot more on DTF and DTG, direct to garment in the future, embroidery, all that good stuff. You consider subscribing to see more on that content, but also other maker machines, whether it's laser engravers, laser cutters, UV printers, and yes, wood shop, woodwork still happens, but some really quality, amazing innovations in the maker world that we're showcasing. Just to be creative, whether you're making stuff for yourself, for friends and family, or you want to do that side hustle, always looking for some sales applications as well. All right, now if you're interested in this machine, yes, xTool sends me these machines. I get these machines in exchange for making videos, yes. So full disclosure there. I do have an affiliate link here where if you choose to purchase the machine, we do get a small commission that supports my family, helps support my family making videos like this. There are some bonus coupon codes down below for some extra savings, so check the description down below to use those. Awesome, amazing machine. If you don't know a lot about xTool, right, they're actually, 5-ish years. They just keep coming out with new innovations just to engage with creativity and empowering makers and creators to make stuff. And they've really expanded their US-based customer service. They just opened up a whole facility for US-based custom support and a lot of new innovations. That's been a huge commitment from the top down, from their CEO, Jason, all the way down. They really want the user experience to be that much better. And so they are really responsive. Unlike a lot of other, contemporary companies and others, they really are investing in their US-based customer support as well as other countries with their xTool squad and other innovations. So awesome, but check out the link, learn more, check out the Facebook groups. There's some awesome Facebook groups that give some quality information about the machine, some other users, tips and tricks as well. All right. For DTF, for this type of machine, if you're looking for more content, what else would you like to see me use this apparel printer to do? What else are you curious about? What kind of content would you see in the future? Drop a comment down below and we'll hopefully integrate that in future videos. Exciting stuff coming, all kinds of different things. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.